My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Noonas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Jessie.
And I'm Natalia, and guess what? That's it. Because it's Hit List Time,
You know what that means?
Hit List! And it's the first episode in October, greatest month of the year.
It truly is.
It's time for all that spooky shit. Hey-o.
And of course, the hit list is going to be the ones that are super excited about
Super excited about spooky shit! Yay!
We just love it.
We like spooky stuff. I think Jessie actually likes spooky stuff more than I like spooky stuff, but like we both like spooky
Maybe.
stuff. I think it's more that
I
like,
feel like
you put more of your energy into spooky stuff.
That's true.
So I think like from volume of spooky stuff,
especially with like entertainment.
Yeah, you've seen more spooky stuff than I have.
But I feel like you are more inclined to like be a believer in spooky stuff than I am.
I'm pretty skeptical. Though my mom's house is haunted, and you will not tell me any different.
No discussion.
Creepy shit happens there. Okay? I was actually indoctrinating my niece, my little 6-year-old niece, into the grandma's house is haunted while I was home recently.
I mean, might as well. You have
and it's not like mom was like, and it's not like my mom was like, oh, don't say that. Like, that'll scare your mom's like, no, it is. It is haunted.
No, really.
No, for
Lizzie
real.
knows. Do you hear her in the background? She's like, yeah, I know. We've heard stories about your mom's house.
We know. What do you want to talk about? We want to talk about spooky stuff, spooky month.
Yeah, we thought because we like spooky stuff, people might be wanting to watch spooky stuff and may not know where to start. And we thought we could help you figure out that sort of thing.
And as always, our little disclaimer, while the WGA has settled their disputes with the major companies, which we're like super pumped about, SAG-AFTRA still hasn't.
Yes.
So we will be continuing to not talk about shows on those particular platforms, which has actually this is like, ever since this strike has been going on, and we've been like, no, we ain't scabs. When I tell you the struggle, every time we have like an episode, I'm like, wow, this would be the perfect show to talk about. Just know if you're like, man, I wonder why they didn't talk about that super spooky. Yeah,
it's because
wish we could have. That would have been great. It would have been super fun, but
gone are the days of just being like, oh man, this show used to be on a certain platform and now it's not. That sucks. And now like it's us being like constantly like reminded that all the cool stuff is being placed on bad people's land, and just don't want to talk about it because we just don't, like, honestly, like we could talk about it, but we just don't want to pay people. And there is a good amount like elsewhere, and
and
some stuff might be a gray area because you could like, a lot of movies are you can buy them on DVDs and stuff, and so like as long as they're older, like I guess technically that's not considered crossing the picket line or anything, but
we're gonna do our best. I think we have. You know what, Jessie? I'm proud of the Noonas. It was hard because there's been some real bangers.
Yes, but very much so.
Leave me good. So we're going to be sticking today. All of our recommendations will be on Kokwa, Vicky, Aichi, WeTV, Asian Crush, I think. Perhaps a few. And that's basically maybe YouTube. I don't know what Jessie's picked, so but
I mean it's just like a bunch of like things. I was like, I'm just gonna try to remember everything and where I like first watched it.
You know what? I'm gonna do like a really weird situation where most of the things I picked are movies, which is very unusual for me because normally I'm more into shows. But when we decided to do this episode, I was like, I'm gonna go on Viki and I'm going to like click like in movies and click like the horror genre and see what they have and then watch some.
That's perfect.
There was like a real variety, let me tell you. Like some real but they got some good ones. So I picked some ones that I enjoyed. I don't know what Jessie's picked. I got a few shows possibly. So Jessie, what is a thing that is spooky that you enjoy, and what kind of spooky is it, and who will enjoy it?
Okay. Like, do you want a specific, or do you want me to like set up like what I
Do
like in
whatever.
spooky?
Listen, what do you like in spooky?
Okay. So I kind of like my like other watching. I do like kind of slow burns, like things that are kind of quieter and stuff. So like I do naturally tend to go towards like supernatural stuff, and very atmospheric stuff. And I think that's like mostly because I'm not a person who gets scared easy. So like anything that's a jump scare doesn't work for me. So if like the what I'm watching is only relying on that, it's going to not work for me, because that like the one thing that it wants to do is not going to be a thing that like I'm receptive to. So I really like things that are very like atmospheric and slow, and the tension kind of builds and stuff, and you get a really good sense of like, you know, long shots or like, you know, good sound design and stuff. It just like kind of makes it sets the whole thing.
You like
I
tense
really like that.
things, yeah.
See,
I don't get jump scared, but I get jump startled. Yeah. Which I think is different, because I also am not scared by spooky stuff at all. Hell, I grew up in a haunted house. But like I get startled really easily, so I'll be like, "Oh, fuck you, show!" Like, ooh, you son of a bitch.
Like the years of like being ingrained in theater and like it being like something that I was just constantly doing. I think I got like used to that just because like I was actively training for that. So I think that's part of the reason why I don't jump scare. But yeah, like for the most part, like I'm afraid of like real humans. Like, not to say that like it's a bad thing, but I'm like I'm afraid of like if you met me on the street, and we had to talk to each other, petrified. That's like that's where my scares lie.
Like talk in front of a crowd.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a
public
no for
speaking
me,
as we talk on a podcast. But like I only see Natalia in this.
Yeah, that's just a fun conversation.
So like, I'm just
between
talking to her.
Two friends.
Yeah,
I don't find things like ghosts aren't particularly scary to me. Zombies aren't scary to me. Like serial killer stuff, not scary to me.
And we've talked about it before on the what was that one movie? I can't even say the movie, can I? But we talked about how like we're both like pretty okay with gore as well.
Yeah, like it doesn't bother
that sort
us.
Of thing doesn't really,
especially because like when I'm watching this, like, you know, I did go to film school, so I'm like, I know that this is all fake. And so it's like I can like still enjoy it while like divorcing myself from the horror of it. But I will admit, I don't often like go for super gory for no reason stuff. I don't. It's not like my favorite thing, but like we do have it when it's done in a fun way.
Yes,
it can be really fun.
That's why I like slashers.
Like the movie that we have that we can't mention that we did a whole episode on before the strike. But it was still fun while like
buckets of blood.
Buckets of blood. I don't know how bloody some of the stuff you picked tonight. None of the stuff I picked is particularly.
I don't think. I will say that the one thing, unless you're moving into movies, a lot of like the dramas won't have like
don't have too much
blood and stuff, because you know they're like most of it's on just the regular cable channels, because that's also the other thing. A lot of like kind of the creepier stuff is OCN, the now defunct OCN, because like they don't even have it. Oh gosh. But like they're pretty much inaccessible, like just because OCN just notoriously, like if you are new to dramas, OCN was a production broadcasting network that's part of the TVN universe, whoever parent company, but they focused a lot more on kind of like the darker themes, and they were much more violent, or much more boundary pushing in that. So you would see a lot of your horror and like darker crime thrillers on OCN, but they were always notoriously hard to find legal anyways. So
so it be what it be. For me, in spooky, I really like supernatural spooky. Like I like having fun with it. So I like stuff with like ghosts and monsters and zombies and vampires and the Mummy. And you know, I like having I like the unreal nature of it.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
like, but anyone who's listening to this podcast knows it's like, that sounds like she's saying she doesn't like something, which is not true.
Yeah.
I'm so easy to please. It's terrible. I'm just like,
Oh, I'm like
everything.
so easy to please,
I
especially in
know.
horror. Like, I love creature features, and I can like watch the worst creature feature ever. Like, it
and
could
have
be,
a blast.
yeah, like, it could be just the absolute like worst
garbage.
hour and a half, and I'm like, this is very fun. This crocodile that is like roaming the neighborhood.
There's this film festival in Montreal called the Fantasia Film Festival,
Mhm.
which does all horror, sci-fi, fantasy, like that sort of all those films. And some of them are bad, but like when you're watching a bad movie in a group of people that are all there like under the premise that you're all about to watch a bad movie,
Yeah,
the vibes are immaculate.
I think that's also why I like slashers a lot, because not because they're bad, it's because a lot of like, especially in horror, a lot of like the bad or poor movies know where they stand and where they land, and like they acknowledge it, and slashers I think really do that well, especially as someone like the older, or like even like the 90s teen slashers really like lean into that, and I think it's just like it's fun because it's like, oh my gosh, everyone is part of this like fun, like
they're not trying to be some sort
experience.
of like high art. They're like, nah, it's gonna be some teens in bikinis getting
And there's
stabbed
gonna
by
be
a
lots of
dude in a
blood,
creepy mask. Like, I don't know what you want from us.
Screams are gonna happen.
People are
but,
gonna be
know.
running through the woods, you know.
Oh no.
What are we gonna do? So they are kind of fun. But I prefer watching those sorts of things like with other people. And like the tenser, like more atmospheric stuff by myself. And sometimes I like putting it on like when I'm at home and getting my mom really upset because she can't take the music. Like, it's not that my mom like believes in like monsters or anything. Like, she's not, you know,
yeah.
But like the music, like when they put like that, you know, like the tense music, she's like, I'm out. I can't do this. I'm done.
Okay. Peace.
I can't do this. I'm out. But today we're gonna talk about some spooky stuff. Some stuff might be real spooky. Some stuff might be a little more goofy. Who knows? It's a real.
We'll try to do like a variety. Yeah. I think I know that I like pick some stuff, and I'm pretty sure that like a lot of the stuff that I picked, you picked too. So I think there will be at least something for everyone.
Yeah.
Like I feel that like we can like find at least one option for someone to try, so that they can have like a little bit of like a themed horror night or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Jessie, start us off. What do you got? What do you want to recommend?
So I'm going to talk about a show that I know I talked about it before, but it was in like such a long time ago that we can talk about it again. And it's a drama that is from 2009. So it's a very old drama too. So maybe like you'll like this because it does have like very old classic K-drama like vibes to it. And it's called Soul. But like, okay, it's a little weird because for most places it's called Possessed. But you have to be like careful about this because there is a Possessed K-drama that is also a horror that I shouldn't be talking about, but
this is not that one.
Yeah, it's not that one. It's so like that one was like 2019, 2020 or whatever. And then there's also a horror movie called Possessed as well. That's Korean. So it's like very hard to find when you like do Possessed, but then on like My Drama List or any of the other places when you're actually searching for content about it, it's Soul. like Soul.
Okay.
So it is it's like probably the most slasher type drama that I have seen in K-drama land, especially because I think it's like an NBC or SBS. It's one of like the
it's on Kokowa, so
yes, it's on Kokowa,
NBC,
so like
NBC.
It has to be like NBC or SBS.
It's NBC.
So like not it wasn't on a network that is known to like, you know, have higher like ratings of stuff. I feel
like the sort of the censorship has gotten more in like the past 10 years.
So it's like if you watch this drama, it's very clearly like right before that, because some of the things they do in this drama, I'm like, this was like on like the public network. Like, this is crazy. I can't tell much about it, but like it's basically about this girl who's a twin, and then one of the twins died, and just like things just start happening, and there's just like that like classic kind of like teen slasher vibe to it, with like this creepy like psychiatrist that is also kind of like trying to figure out what's going on. If you are into, what's her name? Ji-yeon, who was in the group Tiara, she's in it. So it's like one of her first, like, especially like at the height of their like career. She's in it. It also has Lee So-jin in it, and Im Jo-eun is like the main person. But like, it was so much fun. It is like a 2009 drama. Like, don't go in expecting like greatness out of it. But I just thought it was like a lot of fun when I watched it. It's got just like those really great elements of like the slasher vibe, and you have this like girl who's just like going around, and you're like trying to figure out what's going on, and then like things just, like weird things just keep happening. It also has the guy from Hospital Playlist. So if you want to see him in one of his like first roles, Yoo Yun-suk, he's in that as like a terrible like boyfriend or whatever, but he's in it. It's just like, if you're really into like teen thriller or teen like slashers, like Scream and stuff, I think like this drama will like speak to you, especially if you can get past it being a 2009 drama. It's that's like the caveat of everything about this. It's a 2009 drama. 2009 in K-drama land, they weren't spending that much money on their dramas, but like you do see like true slasher like parts that happen. So don't go in it thinking you will see blurred out like knives and no blood. They
didn't do that in 2009. That's a
no,
newer
they didn't
thing
at all. And it was very surprising to me when I was watching, and I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting this at all. Like, this is great. And it's just like, I just had fun. I think it like perfectly encapsulates everything that I find fun in horror, even though that's like hard. That's like not good to say or whatever, but like, it's fun. And I enjoyed watching it.
Nice.
What about you?
I'm gonna like add that to my list immediately.
You should. Yeah, definitely. I think you'd actually like it.
Exactly,
like, I think
up my alley.
It's something that you would like.
Genuinely,
and I'm pretty sure Vicky also has it as well.
Yeah. Well, it's on Cocoa for sure. I just double checked. It's there.
And I feel like I watched it on Vicky, maybe, possibly. It's been so long since I watched it.
Yeah, according to MDL, it's on both, but But anyway, it's on Cocoa for sure. So interesting. I'm gonna take us over to Vicky though, with a movie, and this one's a classic. And by say classic, as classic as something that came out in 2016 can be. But when I tell you, the memes about this were everywhere after this came out. Okay, this movie was a hit. All right, and that is of course The Wailing, which is your classic evil demon. Okay, so I was rewatching it the other day, and I was just laughing about it with my husband because I forgot sort of like it's a show about a bunch of people. Okay, it's a show about this cop who's a cop in a small town. He's kind of a piece of shit, but whatever. Like, he's just a dumbass cop, and he has a daughter and a wife, and they live with his mom. And all these people keep dying, and everyone's like, "They've been eating those wild mushrooms. They gotta stop. They gotta stop eating those wild mushrooms." And he's like, "I don't think it was the mushrooms." And I had forgotten like that this movie is also about like small town racism.
Yes,
because suddenly they're like, "I bet it was the old Japanese man, the old Japanese man who lives in the woods." And I was like, "Oh no!" So basically, there's this old Japanese man who's just hanging out in the woods with his dog, and people are like, "I done seen old Japanese man doing spooky shit.
It was him.
It was the old Japanese man." So then he becomes sort of obsessed with this old Japanese man and trying to like. Then his own daughter starts exhibiting symptoms of demonic possession, and then this, you know, shaman comes to town to like perform an it's a wild movie. And I don't want to say anything more about the plot because like then I'm just giving everything away.
Yeah.
I will warn people, however, there is some violence against animals that's not explicitly shown, but does exist. So if that's one of your triggers, there is some animal death in it. It's such a way. Anyway, it's on Viki. I was surprised it was on Viki because I was like, oh shit, that's on there. It is a fun, classic vibe of like, you know, all creepy things happening in the small town, and the cops too dumb to figure anything out. Ooh. And when I say these cops are dumb, like they're dumb in not in a way that is like doesn't make sense for the story. Like they're dumb in exactly the way that small town cops are dumb. So like if you grew up in a small town and ever talked to a cop, they nailed it. Like they
really did in that, yeah.
The cast is spectacular. The woman who played the little girl, she's older now, but like the girl who played his daughter was insanely good. This movie is wild, and it is a fun 2.5 hours of just chaos. It's a long movie.
It's a long movie.
It's a long movie.
It's one of those movies that has a lot of like cinematography into it, so there's a lot of like downtime where it's like kind of
long
like
shots,
very slow. But it is like, if you ever go search for like the top 10 Korean horror movies, it's always on the list.
It's on the list.
There's not a list that it isn't on.
If it isn't on the list, that's a little suspicious.
Yeah,
suspicious. You're like, what are we doing?
What's going
here?
on there?
What's happening? What you doing? But no, I think it deserves to be on the list. Like it genuinely does. And unlike some other movies that I think should also be on the list, I'm looking at you, Pete Piper. It actually exists somewhere you can watch it. So that's real Pete Piper. Okay, we're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it because that movie's not available anywhere at the moment, and it's not even anywhere that we can't talk about. It's just available nowhere, and it's one of the most incredible horror movies I've ever seen. But regardless, The Wailing, I think it's the old 2 thumbs up from Natalia.
So I am going to also recommend a movie. This is on a ton of different places, like a ton. So you're going to find it no matter what. So I think it doesn't break our rule. Because I think it was one of those things where they just made it really cheap for everybody to pick it up, sort of thing. And it's called Ganjiam Haunted Asylum. It's from, where was it? 2018. If you are a found footage like person, which means that like you like movies where it's done through the like handheld camera lens, you know, of a group, this is going to be your movie. I also wanted to pick it because the cast is really good. It stars Wee Ha Jun in it, and I know that everybody loves him.
People do love a good Wee Ha Jun. They do love a Wee Ha Jun.
They really do.
But it's got Park Sung-hoon too, though.
Yeah, it's got a lot of people. But essentially, it's about a group of people who go to tour this old psychiatric hospital, and just, you know, things go down like it's just a standard found footage. Like you go specifically to search the spooky, and the spooky finds you and starts killing you off one by one. And Wee Ha Jun, his role in this is he like is the creator / host of this like YouTube internet live streaming web series about horror, and like going around to different places and going like specifically ghost hunting and that sort of thing. And so he does a lot of like live streaming and stuff, and he finds people to help him in the area. So he'll like go to an area where like something has happened, and he will seek out people who want to like join his crew, give them the cameras, they go do stuff, and he's kind of like you know, manning like the like control area and like asking them to go to different places and, you know, talking to the chat and that sort of thing. It's a ride. And like it just like spirals immediately and just keeps on spiraling. Like nobody's safe in this movie. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the entire movie. I generally like found footage, but it's just like I think that like a lot of like people, no matter what, is going to really like it. It's like, except if you are not into like being like scared. I think this is like one of the scarier movies too. So like if you get scared pretty easy, I don't think this is going to be your favorite. But it's just like it's a lot of fun. Like it's just like, because it's just like it starts and then just like immediately things are starting to happen. You're like, why did you do that? Like, why did you decide to go in there?
This?
You know, it's like the classic Blair Witch.
The classic, like when you're watching a horror movie and you're like,
oh.
what sane person would do this?
Of course this is going to happen. Like, duh.
Dumbasses. Nah, it sounds. I like found footage too. Well, see, I like found footage, but I can only watch it on small screens. Because when I watch it on big screens, I get motion sick.
Yeah,
that's always my problem. Like, I remember when the movie Cloverfield, when Cloverfield came out,
it's pretty bad. Like,
I had to leave the theater because I was going to throw up. Like,
my poor mom, like, I forced my mom to go watch Blair Witch Project with me because it came out when I literally would not be able to buy the ticket. Like, you know, I was too young, but I was going to see that movie. And so, like, she had to go with me, and she was just, like, you know, holding her head the entire time. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I just really wanted to see this movie.
I remember the first time I watched Blair Witch. This is classic Natalia. This is my parents had gone over to Thailand for 2 weeks, and actually it was more like almost a month, more than 2 weeks, I think, like 3.5 weeks. And I was at home at my mom's haunted house in the middle of the woods by myself. And then I was like, yeah, I'm gonna like get on the exercise bike because I gave a shit about exercise then. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna watch this movie that like my friend let me. Now, I'm not one who normally gets scared about things, but like the setting of that movie looks like my backyard for my mom's house, and I was like, you know, this was a mistake.
Like, maybe
I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't.
Not wrong.
Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. That's okay. That's okay. I have something completely different.
Okay.
To recommend, and it's a show that we talked about a really, really long time ago. Okay. And then it was a really long time ago. The show came out in 2016, but we mentioned it in context to another show episode we had done because it's one show in a gigantic universe of shows. And that is the 2016 show Candle in the Tomb, which is a Chinese like spooky adventure action show. So it's not like super scary, but it does have like spooky, creepy like monsters and like ghosts and stuff. And it's about tomb robbers, essentially. Well, it's kind of that's what they are. They're tomb explorers or whatever.
Explorers.
And I was like sitting here. Listen, I watched it when it first came out, so it has been since 2016 since I saw it, but I really, 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 really liked it in 2016. And it's on and then it was like nowhere for a long time. Like you couldn't find it anywhere. You could find all of its iterations, but you couldn't find the OG Candle in the Tomb. I'm happy to report it is now on WeTV, so it has come back.
Nice. Nice.
Because it, like, when I tell you that it is part of there's like a billion shows that span.
It's like
there's
I think
so
we
much
tried to like chart it out and we couldn't do it. Like that's how crazy it is.
Complicated. Because I believe it's like based on a like novel series, like a very long novel series with multiple characters and arcs and stuff. Yeah. So basically it's about this dude who is a tomb robber who he's doing tomb robbing, and then all of his friends die, and then he's a broken man. And then he comes back because he's got to get one last score from his, he gets a map. Anyway, it's like your classic. It's exactly what you think it's going to be. And it's like, so there's like a few jump startles. They're not really jump scares, but like, and they got creepy monsters. You got, weird zombies, spirit revenant things. It is fun. It is just fun. It is not particularly scary. Like, it is not. You're not going to be like, oh, like, I can't sleep tonight. Like, but it is very fun. And also, if you like it, there's about 1 billion more shows. Another similar show to that, so I'll tie the two in together. And that is The Mystic Nine. And it has Lay in it from EXO, so that's super fun. But I will warn you, while Candle in the Tomb is a lovely 21 episodes, The Mystic Nine is a hefty 48. All right, so like you're really getting into it if you want to do The Mystic Nine, but it is really fun, and it's like the same sort of like a bunch of family clans have to like protect the secret archaeologists and go through monsters and spooky shit, and it starts out with like a train rolling into town, but everyone on the train is dead, and this guy from the military is like, well, I gotta investigate what the hell went down on this train. Anyway, it's delightful. The Mystic Nine is even easier to find because it's on Viki and iQIYI. So like, people were like, oh, we can't. But The Mystic Nine was also one that I watched while it was airing, and then it disappeared for years.
That's
and
crazy.
Then came back. Because I remember I wanted to recommend it once, and I was like, it's nowhere. But anyway, it's back now, so
there you go.
So yeah, it's a fun one. Those are some fun ones. What else you got?
So I'm gonna talk about a classic, because you can find it like pretty much everywhere, but like more specifically, you can find it on an OK site, so you can like bypass all the other places and go to a specific site. And I want to talk about Bring It On Ghost.
I love Bring It On Ghost.
Bring It On Ghost is so much fun.
Listen, that was on my backup list, like just in case.
Just in case. I feel like this, like out of probably all the ones that at least I'm going to recommend, is kind of like the one, if you're just going to pick one, I think Bring It On Ghost is going to
and if like and
every
also
single
if, like,
person.
If you don't really like horror, Bring It On Ghost still gonna get you there.
Yes.
Like,
but if you like horror, you're gonna like it. But like if you also just like K-dramas, this is gonna be the show that you like. It's a good like rounded drama. So it's from 2016. You can watch it. There is a YouTube channel that is owned by CGNM or CJE, whatever, that like company. Called Serial, like SCREAL, and they have a good couple of dramas on that list, and Bring It On Ghost is on it, so you can watch it on YouTube, which is actually really nice because then you can like download episodes really easily and like watch it
on the go.
It's a lot easier to watch things on YouTube than most things anywhere. And of course it stars one of our faves, Tech from 2PM. A boy. It also has Kim So Hyun in it.
She's amazing.
Also very great, and she's like super great in this. And essentially, what is the basic premise of the drama is that Taehyun's character is like he's a, what do we call him? Like he's an exorcist.
Exorcist, yeah.
But he like.
But he doesn't want to be.
Exorcist. He's an exorcist because he needs money for college and for fun things, but he doesn't want to be. But he can see ghosts. That's like why he's an exorcist, is because he has this ability to see ghosts, right? So then he's going to be like, oh, I'm going to use this gift to my advantage and just like pick up some extra pocket change, right? And the exorcisms are essentially him fighting the ghosts, which is how you get the like alternative, like, let's fight ghosts. Like,
he just punches them.
Yeah, he's just punching them.
He just punches them.
And while doing one exorcism, he comes across this girl who's a ghost, and she's just like a opponent that he just can't win. So she ends up like being attached to him, and she doesn't really know why she's there, or like how she died, or all this stuff. And so like the whole entire drama is spent with them going around together to try to figure out, you know, what happened to her and why. And it's got all the like standard K-drama like things.
It knows like, what it is. It knows exactly what it is.
He's
and it
in
knows
college,
what it's
and he has like a group of friends at like the like ghost hunting or whatever, like, you know, club that his like best friend or roommate wants to like make, that he's like has to like join. And so there's a lot of fun with his friends, and they're kind of like ragtag Scooby-Doo type found family. It's got a lot of humor in it, so if you're into humor, there is. I think I remember Sky said that she felt that some of the ghosts may be a bit scary, so there will be that kind of thing, and I think that's just purely their design, but it's not like anything terrible. I think it is the right level, like for like a
it's
Halloween
not like
type show.
Yeah, I agree.
It does have a little bit of like a kind of like a Monster of the Week type vibe for some of the episodes, where they are focusing on one ghost, and you do kind of see the background of the ghost and what may have potentially happened to the ghost. So there is that aspect. He also has a family connection that like is a kind of thing. And then just like throughout the entire show, it is really about her and why she's a ghost, and why can't she like go on, and what's going on. And the, you know, little like clues like are picked up here and there throughout the drama until the end. But it's a lot of fun. Like, it's a lot of fun. So I think like most people are going to be so into it.
It is so fun. I love that drama. I love it. I love it. I love it. And you know what else I love? It's a movie. It's on Viki, and it's a bit of a goofy one when you tell the plot of it. And that's called The Divine Fury. Now, I love nothing better than a good old priest exorcist situation, right? There's something just chef's kiss about just a bunch of dudes in collars being like, out, demon, and screaming Latin at someone, you know, some poor mentally ill person. But what if, okay, stay with me on this, what if it was a priest working with a guy who hates the Catholic Church, but has been given divine holy fire punches that he can punch demons out to people? And he's also an MMA fighter. And also, Wudo Juan was there and is the villain. What's not to like? What's not to like? That's basically the plot of The Divine Fury, where Wudo Juan plays this evil demon summoner who's like, I'm gonna get the demons and take over the earth. And then, Park Seo-joon is this like he's either a boxer or an MMA fighter, and he's like, I don't trust anyone. I had bad things happen to me as a child, and now I'm a bitter man. And then he meets up with a priest played by Unsung Ki, incredibly played by Unsung Ki, by the way, who's like, maybe give Jesus a chance.
Maybe give Jesus.
Because I'm an exorcist for the Lord. It is so fun, but it's like the entire time you're watching it, you really have to divorce yourself. And I find this is true with a lot of like possession, like demonic possession type things.
Yeah.
Really have to divorce yourself from how stupid the premise is to like really be like, this is so much fun, where you're like, this man has fire fists and punches people. Like, this is ludicrous. But at the same time, you're like, yes, punch the scaly lizard man. Like, you're really into it. This movie is super fun, and it's on Viki, and I remember I watched it. I don't think I watched it on Viki originally, because I don't think it was on Viki originally. I don't think it was anywhere originally.
You watch it DVD or something.
Yeah, or something. Like the year it came out, and because like I saw the preview for it, and I was like, this is exactly what Natalia is looking for. And it delivered. If you watch the preview for it, it delivers exactly what the preview says it's going to deliver. And I love that for a movie where it's like, do you want to see Park Seo-joon punching demons? Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I do 100%. And so this movie was like, here you go. Just take it. I'm giving it to you. And it was a delight. And it's actually for being what it is, it's actually a really entertaining and well done movie. Like, because a lot of possession movies can go real sideways. They can go real bad real quick.
Yeah. It depends on where it really wants you to think. You know.
This one really was just like, we're delivering an MMA fighter turned exorcist. Here you go. And deliver it they did, because it was delightful. Delightful. And it's on Viki, so you can watch it if you have a Viki pass right now.
So we're going to Thailand for my next pick.
Exciting.
I know. Exciting. And it's a show from 2019. It's called A Gift to the People You Hate. So it's a GMM TV offering. I watched it on their GMM TV YouTube. I looked for it and it was still there. So it better still be there by the time we talk. It is also kind of like more like, it's like half the show is like focusing on the teens, and then the other half is kind of getting more into the older characters. But essentially there is this like random shop that is selling items to people to gift to the people that they hate. And there are 4 different like options for these presents. And so like you can get something that's like a little bit like nicer. So it's like kind of more of like an inconvenience type thing to like very evil type things. And this like store kind of like magically appears at the right time for the people that are wanting to buy the objects for people. So the drama spends a lot of time just like watching the people who like figure out what they want to gift to the people, and then the repercussions of those gifts, because some of them are just annoying, but some of them are very, very not so annoying. So it's got a lot of that. It's a little bit campier. It's a little bit like towards the middle of it, it does kind of get like a little draggy, especially when it does start to like focus on like the older characters. There's still it's not the characters being older. It's like just the older characters in their lives. So like you're seeing like their older sisters and siblings and like, you know, their kind of things. So it kind of switches, but like it does like you spend the entire time trying to figure out like who the person is at this gift shop, because they have like a mask on, so you never see. And you're also kind of like in the very beginning, it keeps you wondering like what it really is, because you kind of like don't really understand like what the gifts could be, like how bad they could be, and if they do something to the person who is gifting the gift as well. But I think what it does really well, especially in the very beginning, is that it plays on like the stupidity of teenagers and the heightened like, you know, emotions, and like how this like shop kind of preys on that as well, and results in kind of like drastic things. And I think that's where like the show really kind of is good.
Nice. It's still on YouTube. I just checked.
Go. Perfect. So. I figured it would. There's like no reason it should, but.
So, we all love The Untamed.
Yes, we do. Okay.
Did you know that they made like an offshoot movie from The Untamed about Kai's gonna be really happy to find out about
Wen Ning,
about her favorite character Wen Ning. It's called The Living Dead.
She hasn't figured it.
I know it's called The Living Dead, and it's on iQIYI, Viki, and WeTV.
Oh wow.
And I'll just read the synopsis, because I feel like anything I say about it will give too much away. Because near Qishan Mountain, there's a little town called Fufang, which is nicknamed the city that never turns dark. There lies a legend of the lit lamp murderer. Wen Ning arrives at Fufang, and there he realizes the abnormality of the town. The whole town is filled only with the weak and sick, and it's very run down. When the night arrives, he purposely lights a lamp to attract ghost shadows. Just as he's about to capture them, a ray of blue sword appears, and the black shadow disappears. Wen Ning looks up and sees his familiar friend, Lan Xishui. Wen Ning and Lan Xishui, which is their son, decide to work together to solve the mystery and capture the culprit behind the mysterious incidents. It's fun. And if you're thinking to yourself, oh man, but I liked a different character. Well, guess what? There's a second movie that's also on iQIYI, Viki, and WeTV. And it's called Fatal Journey. And it's about Ni Hui Sang and his brother. And it's about the level of spooky that The Untamed would get spooky. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, it's dealing with ghosts and demons and tombs and fun times. So they came out after The Untamed came out, because all of a sudden they were like, oh shit, everyone loves The Untamed. Go, wait, come back. Yeah. So it is good times. If you like The Untamed, The Living Dead, and Fatal Journey, you're gonna like them. Yeah. But I don't know why I almost feel like I had totally forgotten to tell Sky that Wen Ning had his own
But now it's perfect. Now she has a movie for the season.
I feel like I was like semi-gatekeeping by accident. But yeah, for all those people who found us during our Untamed era back in June, bring it back, baby.
Untamed era.
Bring it back.
That really was an era.
You know what? And for anyone who hasn't watched The Untamed, you should watch The Untamed for Spooky Month. Yeah. It's spooky.
Go for it. Yeah,
it's spooky-ish. It's got some spooky bits. There's some ghosts and stuff.
Yeah. Works out.
Yeah. It's fun. The movies are fun. They're fun movies, and the show's really fun. Anyway, it's also 50 episodes, so like if you haven't watched The Untamed, but it's 50 episodes well spent.
Nice.
It's well spent. But the Living Dead is just a movie, as is the Fatal Journey. They're like an hour and a half long. They're not 50. They're not. You can bump them out in an
Although, like, you can be like me and watch the 50 episodes in like 2 days.
Well, that's because it was good. Stupid. That's because it was good, okay?
It was good.
It was really good.
But should I have watched it in that short of time? No.
Maybe not, but that's okay. We're judge. All right, you got one more spooky thing for us?
I do. I'm going to round it's technically not one, but I'm going to bring it all together. Right. And I'm also kind of like tying in a thing because I think it's going to be perfect for you, Natalia. Our discussion at the very beginning of this episode about like supernatural and stuff. And it also is a good representation of like what I was talking about, what I really love in like this atmospheric stuff. So there is a trio of films. They're called the Bloodthirsty Trilogy out of Japan. And while the 3 movies themselves aren't tied together, they're written and directed by the same people. So they're like tied together in that kind of like creative team way. And they follow very closely to British like horror and like supernatural. So if you're like kind of like the classics of like British horror in like the 50s and 60s, you really like these. They are from like the beginning of the 70s is when these movies were produced and released. So the first movie is The Vampire Doll. And it's like essentially about this like doll that terrorizes this woman.
Okay, that sounds incredible.
And yeah. And it like the houses in these are just incredible too. They're like gothic mansions. It's like perfect.
Say less.
Then we have Lake of Dracula. And it's just a vampire movie, and it's essentially like an empty coffin shows up, and then you like meet a person, and you're like, "Who is this mystical person?" And you find out they're a vampire. And then you also have Evil Dracula, where it's just like students at a boarding school, and they're kind of like with like a vampire. They're very classically like that, very like old style, like British like horror. But they're out of Japan, so it's like kind of like interesting to watch because, and it's in the 70s, so like you like really get like a sense of like kind of like that like whole
era
retro era, and like gorgeous sets, and that kind of just like gothic campy like almost romantic style of supernatural like you know, horror. I watch them on Asian Crush. They're usually there. They're also pretty much easy to find. They're also one of those things I think the rights are just like really easy to pick up, so people tend to pick them up. But they're very good. If you're like into classic horror, that might be your like real kind of want to go to for movie recommendation.
So fun. For my fun one, I'm going to recommend a little drama from 2018 that had the distinction of having possibly the only heartfelt Subway.
I was going to pick this one like earlier, and then I was like, no,
Subway ad. The most heartfelt Subway ad you've ever seen. And that is the 2018 The Ghost Detective, which has My Mom's Boyfriend, Choi Daniel, in it. If you're unfamiliar, if you're new to my mom thinks Choi Daniel is very attractive. But anyway, he's playing a private investigator.
So. Your mom's not wrong.
He's not wrong. Mama Joe's not wrong. Joe's not wrong. He plays a private investigator who keeps running into this mysterious lady, and then mysteriously becomes a ghost. Mysteriously, but has to keep working on solving his own ghostliness. So it has Choi Daniel and Park Eun-bin in it. It also has our favorite, our guy, as you see, our fella Kim Won-hae as his like partner. And it's on Coco and Vicky, and it is such a good show.
It really is.
Like,
I don't think a lot of people watched it, but like
show.
I remember watching it like while it was airing, and I was like having so much fun with it.
Yeah, and it's like it's bizarrely like emotional in ways that you don't expect it to be. Like,
oh my gosh, there's
that
also
subway scene. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the subway scene. But like, there's also the mom from. Oh man, I can't say it. Damn it.
Oh, you want to, but it'll give too much away.
No, but not giving much away. I can't talk about the drama. But
yes,
there's a mom and another drama who's very evil, and she shows up in this drama, and you're like, what are you gonna do here? Traumatized.
Yeah, I love when someone's role is so traumatizing that you're like
can't get over it.
Can't even get over it. Ay. No, the show is so good.
Yeah.
And it's just really nice. And I you know, it's like a nice show that's just on the edge of spooky. And it's like, it's a crime show, but it's like a somewhat supernatural, but it's not so supernatural that you're like in like a, you know, sort of a, or like an urban fantasy situation.
Yeah.
Like it's not that, but it's really nice. And like Park Eun-bin is fantastic in it.
She is.
Choi Daniel, fantastic in it. Kim Won-hae, fantastic in it. I think this was the drama that made us all love him, but
probably. if you like found family, I think that classically their little like group that they form together for the investigations are like a really strong found family.
Now, I will say this was one of the dramas that came out during the time where they split episodes into 2.
Oh, yes, that's true.
So it is one of those
Oh, it's gonna
32
be, like,
episode.
annoying
But
to watch.
that's actually 16 episodes, but it's 32 episodes because they split 16 episodes in half. Which, okay, you know our stance on this. We've been very clear about how annoyed we are about this, but it is delightful, and I think a lot of people would enjoy it. People who are maybe like I feel like at the time, like a lot of people did watch it, but I feel like since it's one of those, there's so many dramas all the time that people who have come into the drama sphere,
this one,
it might like slide under the radar because, you know, with the exception of like Park and Bin, there's not really anyone in it who's like, you know, on the red side, you know, the one who's been picked up by, you know, like the more popular streaming services. So it might get overlooked, and it shouldn't, because it's delightful. It is a little bit of thriller. There's nothing gory in it, and there's nothing too, you know, violent or anything.
I do think this one is like if you're like more of like the crime thriller person, this is definitely what you're going to pick. Yeah.
If that's the style of spook you're into.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's some selections to maybe help you get this spooky month started right. Now, if you are a member of our own found family, which is our Patreon supporters, there will be a second very short little mini episode where we slide one more option your way. So if you're part of that, that's a little extra for y'all. But anyway, thank you for listening to us. We hope that you start your month spooktastically right. You can find us wherever podcasts can be found, in addition to YouTube, and also on our website, certifiednoonas.com, where we put links and time codes and everything that we're talking about. And if you want to support us, as we said, you can go to patreon.com/certifiednoonas to join the found family and get access to some of those little extra little mini-sodes that we slide your way. That's found family only. Anyway, we're on all social media, and you should join our Discord, because our Discord is good people, good vibes only on the Discord. Anyway, we hope you have a fantastic start to your spooktacular month.
Spooky.
But you know what's even spookier than ghosts? Getting COVID. So please wear a mask and wash your hands, because cases are pretty wild out there. So, you know, just do that while still enjoying Asian entertainment. Good night.
Bye.